Here we go again, yet another full comparison between two mid-range phones. We've got the Realme 6 and the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Interestingly, both phones are a result of a huge change in the pricing strategy of the respective brands. But end of the day, all we care about is which phone offers more value for our money. So let's go ahead find out. My name is Ashwin Sundar, this is Technology Jog, and before we start, kindly hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Before we begin, a huge shout out to our sponsor, cdkoffers.com. CDK Offers is an amazing platform that sells a lot of software and game keys at very reasonable rates. But the most important of all, and my favorite, would be the Windows 10 Pro key. Click the link in the description, click Buy Now, type in the promo code TJ20 to bring the price down to less than $14, which is just about 1,000 rupees for genuine Windows 10 Pro. Click Submit Order, make the payment, and done. Now click User Center. If the order is still processing, refresh the page after a minute. Now go in and you'll find the key. Now all you need to do is copy the code, search for activation in the start menu, go here, click Change Product Key, paste the code, and activate. That's it. You've got genuine Windows 10 Pro on your PC now for less than $14. So do check out cdkoffers.com, link in the description. Back to the video. Let me give you the usual disclaimer. This being a Technology Jog style full comparison, we will only discuss features that perform differently on both phones. For example, during my usage, I observed that some things, including call quality and Bluetooth performance, were equally good on both. So I'll skip all of those things. But on the other hand, things like charging speeds, camera performance, and they were entirely different. So those things will be covered in detail. Even the build and design are quite different. Okay, of course, looks are subjective, so I cannot decide for you. However, let me just share my opinion. I feel the Note 9 Pro looks better. The Realme 6 actually looks almost identical to the Realme XT and the X2, which feels a bit boring. But in all fairness, it's probably because I got the white variant here. I think the blue variant looks much better. On the other hand, I'm not really a fan of the Note 9 Pro's camera module, and the back panel is extremely prone to smudges and fingerprints. But if you put on the case, you don't get to see the back panel because the case is kind of tinted, whereas the Realme 6 uses a transparent case. So speaking of case, I've already mentioned it in many of my videos. Realme's cases are the best I've ever used. They're more premium, the fit is excellent, and there is a deeper lip around the corners, so it does a better job protecting the display. If you don't like using a case, then the Note 9 Pro is better for display protection as it has Gorilla Glass 5. The back panel and the camera module are also covered by Gorilla Glass 5, which is a big differentiator when it comes to the build quality because the Realme 6 uses a plastic back and Gorilla Glass 3 on the front. Another thing I really need to mention here is how these phones feel in hand. The Note 9 Pro is huge and heavy. I tweeted about this earlier. Phones should not weigh more than 200 grams no matter what, because beyond that point, it actually gets noticeably tougher to handle phones. That's what happened with the OnePlus 7 Pro, ROG Phone 2, and so on. At least the ROG Phone 2 is a gaming phone. It packs in a lot of features that other phones don't, so maybe we can forgive that, but other phones should not weigh more than 200 grams. So basically, I used the Realme 6 for a few days, and then I switched to the Note 9 Pro for over a week, and then the Realme 6 received updates, so I had to go back to Realme 6 before posting this comparison. So when I went back from Note 9 Pro to Realme 6, I could really feel the difference. I could tell the difference. It was a huge relief, to be honest. So do keep this in mind. If you care about size and weight, you should probably go to the showroom and use the phones for some time. I also like how the punch hole is on the corner of the Realme 6's display, even though it's a little bigger. Speaking of display, both phones come with a full HD plus IPS LCD panel. The aspect ratio is 20:9, but the size is different. The Note 9 Pro has a 6.67-inch screen, while the Realme 6 has a 6.5-inch screen. Both are almost equally good in terms of brightness, color reproduction, and contrast. The quality is almost equally good, is what I'm trying to say. The Realme 6 is maybe slightly brighter. It's retained well across wide viewing angles. You can notice that it's slightly brighter from this angle. But yeah, not a big deal.
What is a big deal is the refresh rate. The Realme 6 is the only phone under 15,000 rupees to come with a 90Hz display. And if my prediction is right, it's gonna stay this way for at least a few more months. Not just that, it also has 120Hz touch response rate, which means it responds to your touches much quicker. So overall, it provides a much smoother experience. From navigation in the UI to scrolling through your Instagram feed to swiping through your gallery, everything feels silky smooth. So this round definitely goes to Realme. Speaking of UI, we've got Android 10 on both. Realme 6 runs on Realme UI, while the Note 9 Pro runs on MIUI 11. Both have a multitude of useful features. They're really packed with things you might need or want, including dark mode, screen recorder, battery saver, and so on. Of course, both have some unique features, like for instance, on Realme UI, once you take a screenshot, you can just swipe down to share it. Also, you have the option to use Bluetooth earphones and wired earphones simultaneously. And on MIUI, you can use the Mi Remote app to control your appliances like ACs and TVs. But to me, the biggest difference is Realme UI feels a lot less intrusive, less ads, less bloatware. On the other hand, it's a lot more difficult to avoid ads on MIUI. There are ways to disable all those things. I even made a video showing how to get it done. But yeah, when you consider out-of-the-box experience, Realme UI is definitely better. Let's now talk about some miscellaneous features. Remember I said you can control appliances using the Note 9 Pro? Well, it's because it has an infrared blaster. The Note 9 Pro also has support for Navic. For those who don't know, it's India's own navigation system, which can be even more accurate than GPS. This is big because it's probably going to become the standard within a year or two. It's not just location services, but even Wi-Fi works better on the Note 9 Pro. That's what we saw in the speed test we did recently. The Realme 6 also has a few advantages over the Note 9 Pro. The side-mounted fingerprint scanner is noticeably faster and more accurate. Again, if you refer the speed test video, you can see the difference for yourself. The Note 9 Pro scanner is a little cranky, and while the audio via the headphone jack is equally good on both, the loudspeaker on the Realme 6 is a little better. It's slightly louder. Everything else is pretty much the same. Call qualities, reception, the quality of the buttons, like the feedback, the clicky feeling and everything is equally good on both. The major differences between these phones kick in right here. PUBG gameplay. It's considerably better on the Realme 6. It has the MediaTek Helio G90T chip. If you remember, it's the same chip found inside the Redmi Note 8 Pro. The Redmi Note 9 Pro has the Snapdragon 720G chip, which they claim is an upgrade, but I don't know. Initially, when I played it for some time, it was fine, but then after some intensive gaming sessions, I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed. You will see frame drops from time to time, and remember, this is 40 FPS gameplay, as the Note 9 Pro doesn't support 60 FPS. If you want 60 FPS, you need to install GFX tool, but the gameplay just gets even worse. Now, the 720G is not all that different from the 730G, just a minor difference. In fact, the 720G has a faster CPU, so I decided to check the gameplay on the Realme 6 Pro, which also has the same chip, and to my surprise, the performance was really good over here. So it's probably some optimization issue on the Note 9 Pro. I hope they're not intentionally throttling the performance just because the Note 9 Pro Max also has the same chip. Because in the speed test between these two phones, the Note 9 Pro took way too long to render a video. It was almost 80% slower than the Realme 6. Now, the Realme 6 supports 60 FPS gameplay by default, and the gameplay is also much better than the Note 9 Pro's 40 FPS gameplay. So, for gamers, the Realme 6 is clearly the better choice. And guys, a very important thing to note here is the Realme 6's 4GB RAM variant doesn't support 60 FPS gameplay on PUBG. You need to get the 6GB or the 8GB RAM variant for that. One downside to the use of the Helio G90T chip is the relatively low battery efficiency. But to be honest, it doesn't really seem to be affecting the battery life. The Realme 6 has a 4300 mAh battery, and the battery life is what you would typically expect from a phone with 4300 mAh battery. Now, I used the phone at 90 Hz almost all the time, except on this one day when I just wanted to check how long it lasts at 60 Hz. At 90 Hz, even on heavy usage, I was able to get through one full day quite easily. From 9 AM to midnight, and there was about 20% charge left. Usage included Call of Duty gaming, watching some YouTube videos, and then just the regular stuff: Chrome, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, and so on. At 60 Hz, it lasted longer. And the Note 9 Pro lasted even longer thanks to the 5020 mAh battery. 2 days on medium usage and 1.5 days on heavy usage is almost guaranteed. But the thing is, the Note 9 Pro takes over 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100. So the only time I put it on charge is when I go to sleep at night. Now, here's the funny thing. I'll tell you how your mind tends to mess up with you. On multiple occasions, at the end of day 1, the remaining charge was around 45-50%. I wasn't 100% sure if it would get me through the entire next day. So I ended up putting it on charge the same night. I didn't want to risk running out of charge by next evening and then end up waiting while it charges very slowly. The Realme 6, on the other hand, since it supports 30 watts fast charging, it takes only about 1 hour to charge from 0 to 100. So I just had more peace of mind. Like, even if it runs out of charge, it takes only half an hour to get to 60%. So, and here's the detailed charging test between these phones, plus the Realme 6 Pro and the Poco X2. Check it out if you're interested. We have one last thing to discuss: cameras. I'll try to keep it short. Basically, for photos, the Realme 6 is better, and for videos, the Note 9 Pro is better. Better details and colors at 4K, better stabilization at 1080p. There is a 960 FPS super slow-mo option, which the Realme 6 doesn't have. The Note 9 Pro also supports video recording using the macro camera, which is really cool. And there is a Pro mode for videos. I know for most of you it's not a big deal, but if you're interested to learn how to use it, then here's a complete beginner-friendly tutorial. Check it out. There are a lot of cool things you can do. Now, back to still images. The Realme 6 has a 64 megapixel main camera, which uses a superior sensor than what the Note 9 Pro uses for its 48 megapixel main camera. Realme has completely changed the way it processes images. They now have great colors and detail levels. Even in challenging scenes, the color representation is quite accurate. They're also much sharper, especially when you use digital zoom, it's very evident. This is 2x and this is 5x. There's a huge difference in sharpness. The 8 megapixel ultrawide camera on both phones perform quite similarly. Once again, the colors are better on the Realme 6's images, and in low light, there is absolutely no comparison. The Realme 6's ultrawide images are much better, and it also has support for night mode, which the Note 9 Pro doesn't. How about main camera's low light performance? Well, the Realme 6 clicks much better images. They're brighter, sharper. You do see a bit more noise, but even then I find them to be better. But when you enable night mode, the Note 9 Pro performs better. For macro shots, once again I prefer the Note 9 Pro because it can get a lot closer to the subject and the images are of higher resolution. Note 9 Pro selfies were also much better, but after updates, the Realme 6 also clicks good selfies. In some situations, the Note 9 Pro still performs better, but on the other hand, the colors and the skin tones are also oversaturated. So overall, for still images, the Realme 6 is a better choice. I'm really pleased with the fact that Realme finally took feedback and completely changed the software processing. If you've been a subscriber, you very well know I was never a fan of those extremely oversaturated images with poor detail levels. I'm glad to see this change. So this is what the entire comparison looks like on a single page. It's pretty easy to pick one of these depending on your usage. Basically, if you prefer a really good looking phone with great build quality, which also has an excellent 2-day battery life and great video recording capabilities, get the Note 9 Pro. Or if you want a phone that's much easier to handle thanks to its lower weight, better display thanks to the 90Hz refresh rate, much better gaming performance, PUBG gameplay at 60 FPS, better cameras for still images, and super fast charging speeds while still providing good enough battery life, get the Realme 6. If you want some specific feature which can be found only on the Note 9 Pro, you can buy it. Otherwise, I recommend buying the Realme 6. Especially the 6GB RAM 128GB storage variant offers much better value for your money at 15,000 rupees. The Note 9 Pro 6128 variant is priced at 16,000 rupees. At 16,000, Realme offers another variant with 8GB RAM. So that's it. Let me know if you have any doubts in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Hit subscribe and the bell icon if you found the video useful. And whichever phone you've decided to get, please use the link in the description to make the purchase. It helps me run the channel. That's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar from Technology Jog, and we'll meet in the next video. Take care and bye.